Howdy everybody, what's up? My name is Spina, I'm the Left-Handed Alchemist, and welcome to my channel. Today, I'm gonna share with you the process of me making a bag. Yep, Crafty Corner. It's Crafty Corner is what I'm calling this, because while I am a jewelry maker, I am also just like a little crafty girl. I like to try different crafts and different mediums and different projects as a way to keep my creativity fresh. Sometimes I feel a little bit trapped by jewelry and I need to express myself and create in ways outside of that. It is what it is, you know? And so I'm gonna have a hand at sewing. I found this crossbody bag pattern. I'll insert the picture of that right here. I sewed one already and it was kind of like I gotta figure out how to do this kind of bag. And I cut fabric for 2 more. It turns out I'm actually just making everybody's Christmas presents early this year. And then for the 3rd one, I really wanted to make this one for myself and make something that has a quilted front and back panel so that I can practice a little bit of quilting skills before maybe I go and try and make a quilt. I don't know, I just think that like a green and white checkerboard quilted fabric would be really interesting for the outside of this. And so I'm gonna have my hand at that. And I'm excited about it. I think it'll be really cool and really fun and really interesting looking. So I've never quilted anything before, but I think that if I do just like squares, it'll kind of give me the general feel for what this is and be fun. And I really like the bag. The one that I made already holds so much stuff. I'm gonna do this one just more like in my style, I guess you could say. And maybe I'll keep it, maybe I'll give it away, I don't know. We'll see. So here we are, we're gonna start that. First things first, I need to cut my fabric. So we'll do that. And I think this is gonna be a project that I do over a week or 2, depending on how long it takes. I'm gonna do like a little bit of fabric cutting today and then probably go make jewelry. I'm working on some new symbols pieces for the shop, some new designs for the website. So yeah, let's get into it. So I have this green, just cotton quilting fabric and this kind of natural creamy colored white cotton fabric for the checkerboard design. And then I just thought this was so fun. I love a jaguar. This is probably like not a jaguar, but to me it's a jaguar. I'm loving pink right now. I'm really leaning into this kind of more feminine side of myself. And so I thought pink jaguar would be the perfect like feminine, fun interior fabric. So this is gonna be the inside and then the quilted green and white checkerboard is gonna be the outside. So I need to figure out how many squares I'm gonna cut so that I can fit basically 2 of these plus 2 of these. So this is the bottom kind of panel of the bag and then these are the sides. So I'm gonna do some math and do some figuring and decide how big I want my squares to be. Initially I was thinking 2 inches. I bought this little gauge, I don't know, for cutting squares from Hobby Lobby when I bought the fabric, and I think it'll really help. I think 2 inches is gonna be really big, truthfully. I think I'm gonna go with 1.5. I just think that that'll be nicer. So I'm gonna figure out how many I need, and then I'm gonna cut a bunch of 2-inch squares. Is that right? 2-inch for 1/4-inch seam allowance? Yes. Okay, so I did some figuring. Turns out I'm gonna need a 12-inch, no, I need a 17-inch by 12-inch panel of fabric. So I need that times 2, 1 for each side. And then if I'm gonna do it at 1.5-inch squares, I need about 11.6 squares for the long side and 8 squares for the short side. So I'm just gonna round up to 12. 12 squares for the long side, 8 squares for the short side. Did it the long way. Probably could have done this a lot faster, but I basically just doodled out kind of the pattern that I'm looking for. So I actually need 96 of each color 2-inch squares. So yeah, figured that out. Now it's time to get to measuring and get to cutting. I think this is maybe gonna take me a couple of days because that's a lot of squares. How many squares is that? Times 2. 96 times 2 is 192 squares. Let me double check that. 96 times 2. Yeah, 192. That's so many squares. So we're just gonna I'm gonna start with one color and cut them all and then see where we're at. I have about an hour and 20 minutes left of this work block before I'm gonna go make jewelry. So let's see how much we can get done in that time. It'll be good. So my method for cutting these squares out was to have my yard of fabric folded in half. Part of that was also because of space. I have this warped cutting pad that I'm cutting on. So I needed to make sure that everything fit on there so I could cut it well. And then I measured out 2-inch strips and figured out how many 2-inch blocks I could get from that strip. And basically figured out how many strips I needed so that I could cut all those first and then go back and cut the squares. Each strip counts as 2 squares because it's folded in half. So that actually made cutting all of these squares go by really fast. Like I did all of the cutting for all of the squares in less than an hour and 15 minutes. So I think that that was pretty good. I got everything prepped before going and doing other stuff for a few days. And you'll see that process as I go on. There's just like something about making your own garments and making your own things that really gives you a new perspective on consumption and the things that you consume. And I talk about that a little bit later on in the video, but really like having an appreciation for the things that you make, I think is an important part of being a consumer, or just an appreciation for the things that you have is an important part of being a consumer. All right, so that is everything. It took me an hour and 15 minutes to cut it all, which is honestly not that bad. I thought it was going to take me 2 sessions to cut it all. This is everything for the front and back panels of the bag, and then here are some extra squares that I will practice with before I get into the real project because, like I said, I've never done this before. Okay, so it's several days later and I'm ready to actually work on the bag. A couple of days ago, I did a sample where I just took the extra squares that I cut when cutting the main fabric and made a little zipper pouch. And I think overall my squares look good. The pouch doesn't look very good because of a decision I made to reinforce the edges that I didn't take into account how it would look when it folds inside out. But that has nothing to do with this project. So I think what I'm gonna do today is use this chart that I created to make my front and back front panels with the quilted fabric, and then maybe cut out the rest of the fabric according to the pattern that I am doing, and then probably clean up because the space that I'm working in needs to be used by other people tonight. So I can't leave my mess around, and I don't know if I want to do this all day long. So we'll see. I'll show you what I do. So let's get into the actual panel making right now. Okay, back to talking about consumption. I've been on under consumption TikTok, and I think it's kind of an interesting theme that we're seeing, people being more aware of their consumption. And also while noticing that there's a lot of people who are still really over consuming. And I would dare to say maybe I am also a part of both groups. I don't know. I think being a human is also to be somebody who like engages in the physical space. Like we are physically embodied beings. And so there's an element of consumption that is just like a natural part of being a human. It's okay to like physical objects. It's okay to like want cool things and to feel empowered by the things that you have. It's just like the overconsumption aspect is when we're convinced to buy things we just absolutely do not need, thinking that it's going to somehow make our lives better, that we're going to somehow be happy when we have that new makeup or thing, brand, object. Like, I don't really know. It doesn't actually make you cooler. What makes you cool is having confidence. And so if you can like engage with your consumption in a way where it's like helping to enhance your life and it's like fun and cute and cool, then it's really not that big of a deal to have things. I forgot to record what I was doing when I resumed after I rage quit. Happens to the best of us, right? You know, just freaking sewing machines, am I right? So I'll show you what I did. I sewed all of the squares into panels, and I followed this video that I'll link down below about making a patchwork checkerboard quilt using charm squares, pre-cut squares that you can use to make quilts. I used that same technique from the video to make this, and then the second panel is this. So currently what I'm doing is sewing this piece of checkerboard fabric to a piece of just unbleached white cotton fabric. Give it a little structure to give it that quiltiness, but not make it too thick that when I go and actually sew the bag, it will be impossible to work with. I made a mistake. I'll just be very transparent with that. Cutting the back piece of fabric too small, because as I'm sewing these lines, you can see I've started in one direction. The fabric is shifting, so it actually, yeah, this side of the fabric is not lining up with the fabric that I cut, and I think it'll be interesting. I should have probably done a 9th row this way. Right now there's only 8 this way. I should have done a 9th because the pattern, while it will work, it is going to fit exactly in this rectangle. Like, there is no margin for error. So I have to decide if I want to cut a 9th row, and I'm thinking that actually, as I'm saying that, it would be really easy to take these seams out and cut myself a 9th row so that it fits right, because I'm a novice, and so margin for error is like kind of necessary for me. I don't know. I'm really proud of this panel though. They look so good. They're not perfect, but this will be a really cool bag. Basically guaranteed it's gonna be a really cool bag. So I'm gonna decide if I'm gonna add another row and then keep sewing. So I'm actually gonna not record this next process for the sake of my memory card running out of space. And then I will return when it's time to actually cut the fabric for the actual pattern for the bag that I wanna make. So yeah. So it's the next day, and what I did do is add a 9th row to my situation. I just ripped the stitches out of the kind of quilting thing that I had going on, and then started over with a bigger piece of fabric, so now it fits. So now there will be lots of room for me to cut out my pattern and make the bag that I'm trying to make. So I'm gonna finish quilting these layers, and then I'll cut the fabric, and then I'll actually start sewing the bag. It's been like an entire project to even get to this point, and I still have to sew the entire bag. So I chose this. This is fun, I say as I'm reminding myself that this is supposed to be fun. It is fun. It's just a lot of work. And so it's more like a hobby. There was a moment in time where I was like, I'm gonna start sewing things to sell. I'm not selling any of the things that I made. They're not for sale. So keep going. Okay, back to the conversation around consumption. Like making your own stuff helps you have a better relationship with the things that you consume, because you get to see what goes into it. So much of our things are outsourced to countries that are not even on North America. I'm saying this as a Westerner when I say us, as an American when I say us. A lot of our garments and our things are outsourced to China and other East Asian countries. And so we don't really get to see the impact of the creation of these pieces on the people. And from my own experience, just sewing a few of these bags, like, it takes a lot of work. And I'm sure as you do more and more of them, your skills get better and you go faster and faster. And that's just like a natural part of being a craftsman. But when you're so far removed from the process of how your things are even created, it forces you, or not really forces you, I'm not saying forces you, it gives you space to not really understand the importance of the things that you have, and it leads to overconsumption. Does that make sense? Like, if you don't see the labor that goes into the things that you're consuming, you take it for granted. And so you're more inclined to throw things away when they're perfectly good instead of reusing or recycling things. and it creates a lot of waste. And so for me, making this bag was like a mental exercise. It was a creative expression, but it also maybe unknowingly, when I started this project, forced me to look at my own consumption and to be grateful for what I have and my skills and look for ways to reuse things and just kind of be aware of the things that I'm using and the things that I'm doing, and not being so quick to throw something away if there's like a minor flaw with it. Like, how can I work with the flaw? How can I get over the thing not being perfect? I think that like aesthetics are another way that have led us to overconsume as a culture. Like, it's cool to have things that make you feel good, that are pretty. And I think as you buy things that you were going to buy anyway, like looking for a pretty option is totally valid. But if you're throwing away something that you already have and replacing it with something that's just like slightly more aesthetically pleasing, that's actually super wasteful. And what kind of like crafty project could you do to that thing to make it be the aesthetic that you want while not necessarily having to like throw away and replace the whole thing? Because like, I don't know, it just seems kind of wasteful to me. And this is really like a conversation that you have to have with yourself and decide what feels best for you. Because like I said at the beginning of this video, we are humans. We are like taking up space in the physical reality, and so therefore we will consume physical things and need physical things to like work in our lives. And it's okay to like beautiful things. So you just kind of have to like answer that question for yourself and see what feels right for yourself. And I encourage you to try and make things from scratch. Like, sure, you'll have to go buy fabric and buy parts and pieces, but when you finish the project, you'll have a greater appreciation for the people that do this for a living that you can't see, that live across the ocean and work in sweatshops making the $65 Bagoo bag that you love and carry around. How can you like figure out how to make it yourself to be like a creator in the consumption process? Because I feel like the opposite of consumption is creation. Even if what you're creating is something to be consumed, it carries a different energetic weight to it than just like buying the thing from China. Not that there's anything against like international trade, but awareness of what you're consuming is good. The bag is done. The bag is done, you guys. I did the bag, I sewed the bag, I made the bag. Here's a nice little detail shot of the bag. I've been carrying it around for a few days, and I'm going to show you what's in the bag, and then I'll show you detail shots. For this purse, we have the quilted panels on the outside, obviously, that you saw, covered in cat hair. Did a yellow zipper on the outside. It's giving very Green Bay Packer, which I didn't realize until after I finished it. I just thought the colors looked nice, and then I finished it and was like, go Pack, go. Gotta honor the ancestors somehow, right? My people come from Wisconsin. Jaguar inside, pink. Also gives watermelon girly pop, which I love. We have two interior pockets with the zipper, which I'll show you in a minute. And then we have two side pockets on the outside, like on this edge. You can see my chapstick right here, and my knifey, and then my gum and my business cards. So easy access to like little things that kind of fall into the bottom of this purse. Because let me tell you something, I made 4 of these bags. Each one kind of figuring out how I wanted to construct this final bag. The first time I made the bag was, can I follow a pattern that I found on the internet? Can I follow a pattern, period? Did I cry multiple times making the first bag? Yeah, I did. But I carried that first bag around for a couple of days, a couple weeks really, because it took me forever to do all of these bags. I realized what I want out of it. One zipper pouch in the bag is just simply not enough. You can hold a lot of stuff in this. Like this really is the Crescent Bagoo bag dupe. And you can hold a lot of stuff in here. It's been cool. A couple times I've had to go like to Walmart to get stuff and I forget my reusable bag, and I just use this. It actually holds all my stuff and the stuff I just bought. So that's kind of cool. I think I needed more pockets to hold all the little things so that I can find them with ease, and I'm not like sitting at the cash register like, I know I have a quarter in here somewhere, or handing someone a business card at an event. First Friday. Oh, hi. Sabina, Left-Handed Alchemy. Yeah, I make jewelry. Whatever it is, you know. So we have 2 bags, or 2 pouches, and then 2 more pouches on the side, which is cool. Let me get into this. I have a business card for a gallery that I'm trying to get my work into. I have my sunglasses that my mother-in-law gave me. Ray-Bans, baby, so fancy. She got me these for my birthday. Everyone tell me that I look slay cute, girly queen. Anyway, I have my commonplace notebook. Just a little notebook that I write thoughts and feelings and drawings and vibes and, you know, it's a good time. Always have a notebook on me. My reusable bag for when I go grocery shopping, because I live in a state that no longer provides bags for people. You have to pay for them. My car keys so that I can drive away. In my side pouches, I have gum, my red 40 gum, and my business card holder. In my other pouch, I kind of split this one down the middle so it has two little slots. I have lip balm, lemon poppy and pout lip balm, and my Spyderco knife. Watch out, bad guys, I'm coming. It's more for like opening packages. My one side pouch, I have like bits and things. This is like my bits and things pouch. I have my Altoids. I have a pen for writing in my commonplace notebook. Pilot Precise V5 retractable. I live and die by these pens. I want to try the V7. I just need to go to Walmart and buy one, buy a pack, but I feel like I kind of need to like use up a few of my pens before I buy more because I have a pen collecting problem. I have confirmed that these are in fact the best just common office gel pen you can get. The retractable is nice. There's no lid to keep up with, because these originally in high school I would use the ones that had like the lid. I'd lose the lid all the time. You never lose a lid with a clicker. Nail file. I know metal nail files are not the best for my nails, but in a pinch when my nails are either getting ripped off by my teeth or I'm gonna lose my mind, I use this. It's helped me a lot. Tech Deck skateboard. Inner child needs to be satiated somehow. I've had endless amounts of fun with this thing since purchasing it. Cool. And in the other side, I keep my money. My cash money. Cash money. It's mostly ones. Don't be fooled by how thick it is. My wallet with my cuticle oil from with the rollerball I made. I made this rollerball vial many years ago and it never sold, and I said I'm gonna freaking use it. And then there's a little Maker's Mark, well, kind of just a little charm and an eyeball, a little eyeball charm on there. The eyeballs did not sell well, I'll tell you that for sure. Change for the poor. So yeah, that's my bag. She's very cute. She's so beautiful. She's so beautiful. Thanks for watching that video. If you enjoyed it, like and subscribe. You can follow me on Instagram. I make jewelry mostly. That's kind of my main deal. So if you want to support me financially, you can buy some jewelry. Here's some stuff I just made, just released. Very beautiful things, very beautiful time making them. You can go and see how I make all of that stuff on my jewelry making YouTube channel. It's a fun time, I would say. We have fun over there. You can learn a few things, and you can, at the very least, just see how it's made, see how your jewelry is made, see what kind of care and masterful skill is being put into everything that you wear, you know. These are heirloom quality pieces, you guys. These are things that you will not be throwing away at the end of the trend cycle. So, thanks. Yeah, we had a lot of fun making this bag and learned a lot about the process of sewing and also about ourselves and our patience level and hobby corner, you guys. That's what I'm going to call this. Hobby corner or crafty corner, where we make crafts and try new things, because having hobbies is cool. Having hobbies is fun. Having hobbies is how you find a sense of self. You can sew something. Like, I'm not going to sew another bag for a long ass time. I got the itch to sew, and I scratched it hard with all the bags that I sewed, and I'm over it. I'm gonna use this. I've used it like every day since I've made it, so it's pretty cool. I have a new like respect and understanding for the people in third world countries who have to do this all day long, so that I could buy this for $60 through Bagoo. I would charge like $700 for this, because this took forever, so I'm not going to sell it. I'm going to wear it and use it and love it. And, you know, just making your own clothes and making your own things gives you a deeper understanding for what goes into the making of these kinds of things. And I feel like this is way cooler than anything I could have bought on the internet anyway. So, I don't know. It's fun. Yeah, anyway. I have links for everything down below, description. So, yeah. Until next time, my friends. Love you. Bye.